Previously on Paisal, we discussed how Paige and Jessal met. What did we discuss in episode 2, Jessal?
We went to watch a movie, 2 movies that we discussed. We missed the third one, apparently.
In this episode, we will be discussing things getting more serious as we both decided to move forward.
Yes.
My name is Paige Crystal Wilcox, and I am your co-host for Paisal.
Co-host, my name is Jessal. I have not the same amount of control here. Yeah, I got to make the joke. No one has the context.
I could always go back and cut in the other thing. Oh wait, no, I deleted it. After 2 successful movie dates.
The second one more successful than the first one.
Absolutely, in every way. We had a dinner date, a dinner and movie date. Or lunch. No, we had a lunch date. We went and had an Italian lunch.
Yes.
In the city.
The one and only time we've been there. I can't even remember the name of the place.
It's opposite where the parcel lockers are. There's parcel lockers.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I have a very good map of my city in my head because I have explored most of it, if not all of it, on foot over the past 20 years.
That's for another podcast.
Yes. Ad time. You can now switch over to Surviving Life, where I discuss the different parts of my experience of the world. I'm
Switch
probably
over.
going to cut this out.
Switch over. We're going to have to finish one thing.
It's on the same channel. Please don't just stop this podcast to listen to a different podcast. When we had lunch, I was quite nervous. I think you would have been nervous too.
Yes.
Some context. We had discussed the possibility of a first kiss. As with crossing the boundary into a first hug, so we mentioned your situation, not being able to read the signs and not wanting to do something that I didn't want to do. I was very anxious about having to make the first move. All of this was on our mind as we had a nice casual lunch. Then we went and sat on a park bench.
No.
It was a park bench. It was in a park. Got you that time.
It was near the riverside.
It was the City Botanical Gardens.
Yes.
Therefore, it was a garden.
No, it's a park. I'll give you this one.
Thank you. Even if it is just that you wanted to disagree with the last thing that I said, which was that it was a garden and not a park.
I don't think even was I even in that discussion. You were talking amongst yourself. You were talking to yourself about that.
You're right here.
Yeah, no.
I'm not talking to anyone else.
No, you do have conversations with yourself as well when I'm here.
Shh. There we were, sitting on a park bench by the river, looking out over some very interesting boats.
Yes.
It was a boat that looked a bit piratey.
Yes, I think it's still there.
I think we sat for quite some time.
I can't remember. I think you asked if it was okay.
We leaned in. Mwah.
I don't think that was the kiss. That was like a G-rated kiss.
Right then or at the time?
What you just did now.
Oh, I'm sure our kiss was G-rated as well.
Probably PG.
PG, okay.
Well, the one you just did was like a peck.
Well, I felt like it would be a bit crass or gratuitous to kiss on a podcast. Maybe if it was an ASMR podcast, you know, all the like really fine sounds of saliva and...
If it's an ASMR, I don't think you would actually need to show anything. You can just make similar sounds with something else.
I have no idea.
Well, you can cut all this out then. You're the one that brought up ASMR.
And I'm the one who's throwing it out the door. Anyway, moving on. We went back to my favourite cinema again. The movie that we chose was not amazing. It was Bumblebee. I forced myself to sit through the early Transformers movies by Michael Bay. I did not like them.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
I remember being in the cinema, feeling like trying to be a bit more affectionate because we had crossed this threshold.
Oh no.
And you were kind of a bit like, not like pushing me away, but like, okay, no, yes, we've done that and we're in the context of a movie now, so we're supposed to be watching the movie or something.
I think it might have been different if we'd already seen the movie.
Yeah, so it was an enjoyable movie, so you actually wanted to watch it.
I don't know about enjoyable.
Well, I'm not saying I would watch it again. There are enough great films that I would like to watch again. and that we do watch again. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think I've probably only seen it about 10 times since 2018. I think you may have seen it a few more times.
I have no idea how many times.
It is a fantastic movie. We should watch The Mitchells versus the Machines again as well.
I wouldn't say no to that.
Done. And that's how you organise your next movie date.
Oh,
And then we have to watch Scream 2, Scream 3 and Scream 4
on the same day?
to prepare for the Scream. I don't even know what Scream 5 is because it's called Scream. It's a sequel. It has the original cast.
This is another podcast.
I digress. This was supposed to be a very romantic episode about our first kiss. After the movie, we went back to the gardens, but a different part of the gardens where they have all the fairy lights and the syngonium. It's a little tropical plant that likes partial shade.
Oh.
Sometimes I get quite distracted talking to you. I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
That's not my fault. You think I'm cute. It's your perspective.
We ended up sitting on another park bench.
Yes, it was in a park.
I was pretty happy that we had moved that forward. We had like a bit of a miscommunication, I think. I went to kiss you
I turned my head away.
and I was like, oh my gosh, somehow I've read the situation wrong.
Yeah. And I was there oblivious. It was basically a coincidence. I turned my head at the same time.
Something that you may have picked up by this third episode is how anxiety shapes my experience, particularly in relation to social things. I have learnt, I feel, to be very good in social situations. I wasn't when I was a child. And at the beginning of my adulthood, I was only good at socializing when I was drunk, partly because I think it just slowed down my brain, didn't allow me to overthink things.
I think for me, it was similar in the fact that drinking helps me interact with people where I'm not as reserved.
Yeah.
Where it's not to do with anxiety or anything. It's, I don't know.
It is well known for allowing people to lose their inhibitions.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
It is letting go of social respect in a lot of ways, I feel. That is definitely how I have felt that I've behaved when I used to drink, and also how people have behaved to me when they drink. That's when people have asked me really inappropriate questions, take action rather than considering the consequences of everyone else. It's just like, this feels good, I'm going to go do this. Or when I used to drink, I would just get up and leave. I would just leave. And then I would get messages from people asking where I was.
I don't think I've done that.
We have had very different relationships with alcohol.
Yes.
From my perspective, it doesn't seem like you've ever had an unhealthy relationship with it.
I wouldn't say I was a dick.
You wouldn't say you were a dick.
I should have finished that word. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to alcohol. It's just being in a situation, a social situation where there's alcohol. That's when the relationship is bad. I've gotten drunk a whole heap of times, but I wouldn't drink by myself, anything like that. It's still an unhealthy relationship, but not an addiction.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Basically, I didn't start drinking until I was 21. And then I was like, okay, might as well drink in social situations to make it easier. That's all.
Well, I did want to keep this episode nice and short and really about that first kiss, partly so that I could either call the episode Kiss Me, like the Sixpence None the Richer song, or This Kiss by Faith Hill. We could end up with an AKA situation. I think I've just decided on that.
Because I shook my head.
Yeah. That's the anti-validation I needed.
Is there anti-validation?
I don't think so.
There is just validation, is it?
Yeah.
Regardless of if it's a good or bad sign.
So many things to look up.
Okay. The only thing I'm looking up is preposition.
Thank you very much for your time, for listening to us chat about how we navigated our first kiss. I quite enjoyed this conversation, and I have enjoyed the idea of sharing it with you so that you can become a little bit more familiar with our love story.
Mm-hmm.
For the next episode.
But you already put the context in, so everyone knows.
Well, I'm going to cut it out now.
So this is getting cut out.
For the next episode, we will be exploring really the first complexity related to my identity, how to introduce me. So come back soon for that. In the meantime, though, I will be putting out another episode of Surviving Life, examining the different ways my experience of life is shaped by my various identities and different aspects. Thank you for your time. You've been a fantastic listener. And by that, I mean we didn't have anyone talking back to us, and that is exactly how I like it.